Hello everyone, and welcome to another Jaltest webinar. Today we will have a look to the crane industry in terms of diagnostics and maintenance. Once again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to use the chat. My colleague Alex will be there for you guys. The reason of this webinar is because many customers wanted to know about what we can do on this type of vehicles, on cranes. And in this webinar, I will try to summarize the situation of the industry and how can Jaltest be a very good solution for some of the challenges that our mechanics and technicians are facing when they are dealing with the systems of the cranes, okay? So first of all, we are going to start with these challenges, with these problems while repairing cranes and doing diagnostics. Then we are going to have an overview of Jaltest Off-Highway, that is our answer for those problems. And we will finish the session with some case study, real cases of customers that have those problems and how we can solve them by using Jaltest, okay? So let's start with the specific challenge of this industry. These problems are problems about coverage and maintenance that we can face when we are working with different cranes manufacturers, okay? So these are only few examples. We can find more problems that you may have. So if you have more ideas or you are finding more problems while working with cranes, you can ask through a chat and we will try to provide you answers. Okay, we have identified three main problems in terms of coverage. The first one is the need of third parties to repair your cranes, okay? That means that most of our customers, when they are working with crane systems, most of the time they are gonna need dealer services or even other shops to provide the coverage on specific manufacturers. That is because they do not have the tools, so they do not have the knowledge. But at the end of the day, these services is gonna cost them money. I think most important than money, time, okay? When we are losing the control of our assets, of our resources, we do not have control also of the downtimes of our cranes. So anytime we are sending a machine to the dealer or to another shop, we do not have control of how long it's gonna take. So at the end of the day, it's gonna cost money and we are gonna lose business, because if we are working with that crane and we do not have that crane available because that crane needed a region, we won't be able to have that service, and we are going to have other customers complaining because we are not following the time. So we are not, or we are also losing that customer because we cannot provide that coverage on that systems. So it's about freedom and business, okay? Then another situation, another issue that we can find is that the need of working with multiple solutions, okay? In fact, in this industry, in the cranes industry, there is an additional problem because some cranes manufacturers are not offering diagnostic solution to work on proprietary fault. I mean, they are very restrictive with the software solutions. So for example, if we are working with Mercedes, Liebherr, Scania, or MTU, most of the time we will not have access to the tool, or even a tool with some restrictions that won't allow us to provide the whole coverage. Also, other manufacturers like Manitowoc or Talano Group ask for subscriptions and courses to provide that information about the proprietary faults and technical information, okay? So when we are working with multiple OEM software, we are also spending a lot of money, and also we are increasing the learning curve. And this is very important because, when our technicians, our mechanics are working with different solutions, they need to learn different software. So most of them are gonna not feel comfortable working with other manufacturers or other systems, and at the end are gonna become professionals of one makes or two, but not all of them. So we are gonna have a lack of knowledge and experience, and we are gonna have a lack also of accessibility, okay? Then as a result of these previous difficulties, some customers are performing reactive maintenance. Reactor maintenance is the most dangerous issue that we can find while performing diagnostics and maintenance in cranes. because, when we are performing reactive maintenance, we are also not not providing the right care that our cranes need. So at the end of the day, we are going to reduce the expected life of the equipment. We are going to need more spare parts, more repairs, more components. We are going to increase the downtimes, and also we are going to need more new machines, because as we are not performing the maintenance recommended by the manufacturer, we are deteriorating the equipment. Okay. So in other words, this affects our independent service by becoming dependent of others, dependence of other solutions, not taking control of our assets, and being more expensive and inefficient. Okay, so this is the challenge we have seen when we are working with cranes. And this is one of the situations that most of our customers are having right now, because they are dealing with this. Okay, so they do not have access to the resources they need. But how much those resources cost? Okay, how much cost for them in the current market to access to the coverage they need? So, for example, let's see, we have a customer with a Liebherr LTM 1130 crane. Okay, this is the crane we have on the screen right now. So if the customer wants to cover all the system he has on the crane, he is going to need a deliver solution. In this case, it's going to be Lydia, to cover both engines, the one for the superstructure and the one for the track, and also CF DWA Bluecom, CF Testman Pro for the transmission. And then sometimes we are going to find also another system that for the retarded, that is going to be Void. So at the end of the day, it's going to cost around $7,800 only for the software to cover this Liebherr crane. Also, I would like to highlight that it's very important, for example, in this case, that some solution will not be available in the market, and it's going to be difficult to have access to that Liebherr tool to cover the engines. So that is good cost for them to have the software. Another example, if we have a customer that wants to work in a T-Rex or Tadano, in this case, we have a T-Rex DMAT AC 251 with a Mercedes OEM 502 LA on the cabin model. And for covering this crane, the customer is gonna need, again, 3 different systems, 3 different software. That is gonna be Mercedes Sentry, Meritor Waco for the brake systems, and again, ZF Testman Pro for the transmission. So again, the price is gonna be around $7,000. So only for covering one crane, again, a very huge price. Last but not least, we have another example that is going to be a Grove GMK 500-225 with a Cummins QSB 6.7 engine. I have chosen this example because I would like to show also more common systems in terms of diagnostics. In this case, we have Cummins and Allison. Most of you know the solutions, Cummins Insight and Allison DOC. But even though this example is very interesting, because even using this common system, let's say, we are going to find the same model with Mercedes engines. So it's probably it's very often to need another software for the same model of crane. So I mean, not even working with few OEM software, that in this case Cummins and Allison, will allow us to work in all the variant that we can have for a specific model. So at the end of the day, we are going to need more tools. So we are going to spend more than this $3,600 for covering only Cummins and Allison. So as I know that most of you are having this situation that they work with different pieces of equipment, I'm assuming that you are going to find a situation like this. Okay, you are going to need to have different tools to cover a different type of cranes. Okay, in this case, the 3 mentions before going to cost us like $14,000 only in softwares. Okay, once again, most of them like Mercedes and Lydia are gonna be very restrictive, and probably we will not find the coverage we need. Okay, so the reason of the webinar is to provide you an alternative. So what can be a smart solution to cover all the systems of the cranes without spending that amount of money or without having that lack of coverage or depending on third parties. Okay, our answer is Jaltest Off-Highway. Is our purpose for you, a solution that not only covers cranes, as most of you may know, but also other pieces of equipment, like for example, excavator, wheel loaders, dozers, forklift, and well, compact equipment, stationary engines. A lot of different equipment that will be included for you. So you will be able not only to cover your cranes, but also Caterpillar, John Deere, Bobcat, and more than 90 different makes. Okay, so for example, if we check the coverage we have in numbers, we will see more than 90 brands, more than 2,900 models, and thousands of different ECMs that we can cover. In terms of systems, Jaltest will provide you coverage on engines, transmission, body computer, brakes, and hydraulic systems. Okay, the hydraulic systems will be very soon available also for cranes. Right now, we do not have that coverage, but we are working on that. And well, for the rest of the equipment that we have in Jaltest Off-Highway, we have also coverage on the hydraulics. Okay. Okay, we like to say that the Jaltest Off-Highway is not only a scanner, we are not only reading fault codes, okay? We like to say that we are advanced solution of diagnostics. And what that means? That means that we are not only reading the fault codes, we also provide you locations of the components, information related to that fault, and proprietary information to help you out how to fix the fault. We are trying to guide you during the whole process. For this reason, we also provide dealer level bidirectional tests, like for example, regens, cylinder cutouts, calibrations, and other parameter settings, like for example, injectors coding, etc. So we try to provide you the best solution in terms of coverage and also the test that you may need while you are working on the shop. But what else? Okay, we try to go further, and when we say that we have much more, it's that, for example, we provide technical information of components, wiring diagrams, troubleshooting guides, and well, we will provide you help in order to be able to work independent. Okay, so for example, imagine that we have a proprietary fault that we do not know how to fix it. Okay, Jaltest will provide us the what's next. Okay, the following answer. Okay, we will let you know when that fault occur, temperature, pressures, information of the ECM related to that fault, also location of the component, as you can see right now on the screen, how it's communicating with the ECM, the wirings, the pinout, and also not only information about the protocol communication and the electromechanics, but also mechanical information, like for example, tightening torques, or for example, the cylinder head, lubrications, maintenance intervals, etc. So the goal we have here is to keep all the information you need in one solution, so you don't need to go to external resources, to external platforms. You don't need to go to pay for other licenses, so you will keep everything you need when you need in the solution you are working with. Okay. Also, Jaltest has 3 updates per year that will increase your coverage in terms of technical information and bidirectional tests. And also we have a customer support department that will be there for you, picking up the phone if you have a problem or if you have some questions. So, well, I can tell that there are very few solutions in the market that provide that assistance, and we are very happy to have these guys on the team that are, well, they are there for you. And if I'm sure that if you know them, you know that they work very good. Okay. So yeah, we provide technical information, diagnostics, and customer support. In short, Jaltest Off-Highway is an all makes and all system solution that will allow you to work with everything in one tool. And if we compare with the situation we have seen before, Okay, in this picture, we have other maze that go farther than the cranes industry. But if we go back to the cranes industry, we can see how much it costs to have a total coverage for cranes if we purchase different OEM tools. So we are going to have more than 12 OEM solutions because, well, we have several different maze. For example, here I'm missing also Eaton and Detroit Diesel, but well, that's are the most common system that we can find in cranes that we can have in a solution that costs at least 4 times less than the price we have seen there, and allows you to work not only in that but also in 90 different makes, keeping everything in one license, one software, and one hardware. Well, without limited and without working with different scanners. It's not only a matter of money, but also a matter of time. Who wants to keep dozens of tools in the shop only for cranes? I mean, who wants to have their service team learning 12 different diagnostic software when they can have everything in one and be more effective? No. All right. Regarding the coverage we have specifically for cranes, I would like now to talk a little bit of the crane industry and the solution we provide there. We are going to find the model within Jaltest Off-Highway and then a heavy-duty equipment, as you can see right now on the screen. Once there, we have to select the model and well, the make and the model in which we want to work. Jaltest Off-Highway provides coverage in 13 different brands, but not only the main brands, like for example XCMG, Sunlion, Link-Belt, Tadano, and Grove. Also, the different systems that we can find there. So, I mean, we are not only being able to communicate with the manufacturers of the crane, but also with the system that the crane has. Okay, as I said before. We have more than 300 models and thousands of different proprietary faults. Okay. Regarding the type of cranes that we can cover, well, we cover all of them. Okay. Starting, for example, from the heaviest model, we have coverage on lattice cranes, as the one you have on the screen, very used in the construction industry. Well, those cranes can tow heavy materials. The difference between this type of cranes and other are we don't have a hydraulic structure. In this case, we have a lattice bomb with made of iron, so we can tow heaviest material. Then we can also cover cranes on tracks or on Caterpillar tracks. And that is a choice of equipment for sites that work under uneven grounds or other any type of soil or weather condition. Okay, so this type of cranes allow us to carry out heavy materials when the floor is not that rigid. Okay. We have also coverage for route turning cranes that are very versatile models with a hydraulic system to work on wheels. These cranes have better mobility on the field, but they used to work static with a stabilizer legs that you have here on the screen. And also, well, we cover self-propelled cranes. And the main characteristic of this type of cranes is that the biggest model used to have 2 engines. Okay, so we can find one engine for the track and another engine for the superstructure. Well, these cranes don't need to be assembled on the field because they can be driven on the speedway, like a track. And in terms of diagnostics, we are going to find both tracks and crane systems. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit difficult because we will need a very large coverage to be able to cover the track and the crane. So, well, to finish the webinar, I would like to check the coverage of Jaltest with 3 real study case. So in this part of the webinar, we are gonna see different situations. We are gonna check the price of the service for this situation, and then I'm gonna connect to Jaltest, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to access to those models and to perform the action we need for the crane. Okay. Hold on one second. So the first example is a customer that works with a Tadano ATF 400G6. That is the one you have right now on the screen. It's a very big self-propelled crane, okay? And in this case, we have two engines. We have a Mercedes OEM 473 LA in the track and a Mercedes-Benz OEM 936 in the superstructure, okay? So in our example, our technician, our mechanic, doesn't have any diagnostic solution, but as he's working with a final 4-tier engine, time after time, he will need to carry out 4 regions in both engine, I mean, in the track and also the superstructure. So he will need to call somebody with a tool or to call a dealer to perform those actions, okay? The crane will need these regions even more often than the track. I mean, the second engine we have in this equipment gonna need these regions even more often. And why? Well, the reason is because that system used to work at idle speed, so the engine doesn't rise to enough temperature to perform automatic regions like the track engine does. So for this reason, we are gonna need the force region even more often than with a track, okay? How much will cost him the region in an official shop? Okay, the price is going to be around $1,000. In this case, we asked for a region on the second engine, and the dealer told us that would cost around $960. I'm going to take more than 3 hours, and also he has to send us the technician with a special fee. So, well, here, things that we are not taking into account. Well, we are not taking into account the downtimes, okay? And this is very important because well, maybe the dealer is not available that week and we have to wait with the crane and operative during that week. And also we are not taking into account if we need the region in both engines. In this case, we cannot even move the equipment, and the price is going to be almost the double. All right, so how much will cost in terms of time or difficulty to perform this action with Jaltest? Okay, I'm gonna connect right now with Jaltest. I'm gonna show you. Okay, here we have the model. And as I said before, we will have to ask to heavy duty equipment. Here I have the manufacturers we cover in the cranes industry. And we click on Tadano. All right, we search for the system, for the model we want to work with. It's gonna be a G6 series. And once here, well, you can see the coverage in terms of systems that we provide for this crane. We can work in more systems rather than the engine, okay? So for example, we have transmission. In this case, it's a ZF transmission, and other models of the crane, okay? So a very good coverage here. And in this case, in order to be able to perform the region, we are going to click in after treatment, and we are going to connect to the after treatment system. All right. So once we connect, we are going to find the diagnostics menu. It's going to be the same regardless the manufacturer. So this is well, very useful, because if we are working in this case with Mercedes, the display is going to be the same if we are in Cummins or Liebherr. Okay. So once here, well, we can read for codes, okay? So we can understand what is going on the system, okay? The dealer is gonna charge us for the diagnostics. So with Jaltest, we will be able to check that information, and well, we have advanced information to check components related to the fault, troubleshooting, etc. But let's go to the point. We are gonna click on maintenance, and here I have the action we need it, okay? TPF regeneration. So we introduce the expert mode. Well, I don't know if you know what is the expert mode, but the expert mode is a password that we provide to our customer for protecting advanced functions, like, for example, regions. For well, it's a way to let them know that the action they are going to perform is going to modify the information of the ECM. So, well, it's like a safety measurement, a safety measure, sorry. And well, Jaltest always works in the same way. We have 3 steps. The first one is an explanation of the action. So for example, here we provide the information about what is a regen and how it works in Mercedes, the temperatures we are going to reach, and additional information like the time, for example. Okay, so for example, for this region, we are going to need between 40 minutes and 140 minutes instead of a week or 2 weeks that the dealer needs to perform the action. And we will be able to perform it by our own. Okay, so we click in upset. Then we are going to have the initial conditions. Okay, and once we are following the conditions that the ECMs require to perform the region, well, we start the region and we wait the time we need to perform the region. Okay, so for example, we will be able to check in live different measurements. Okay, for example, to see how is what is going on the DPF and understand better the process. So the process takes like 40 minutes, between 1 hour and 2. Okay, and it's that easy like that. Okay, we have in the region, very easy. We only have to click on make, model, the system we want to work with, and then maintenance and the region. Okay, so let's go back to the webinar. All right. And now, well, our second example is going to be a bigger crane. Okay, in this case, we have a latest crane. It's a Link-Belt HSL 298 with a QSL 9 tier final 4 engine. And our technician right now, in this occasion, needs to replace one injector. Okay, he has called Cummins, and they charge him $1,300 for the whole operation. Okay, it's gonna take between 6 and 7 hours to work. That includes not only the replacement of the injector, but also the calibration. And here is where the technician is having the problem, because he knows how to change an injector, but he doesn't have a tool that allows him to perform this injector codification. Okay, this injector coding. All right, so as we might know, every injector is unique, and that means that each one does in a different way. That's why the ECMs, in this case of Cummins, require this calibration, because we need to let the computer knows the new injector to adapt the performance of the engine to the new component that we are installing on the engine in this case. Otherwise, the exchange will affect the performance of the engine, or even we will not be able to work with the engine. So we will need a diagnostics tool to be able to perform the calibration. In other words, if we do not have Cummins inside or Jaltest, every injector calibration gonna cost like $1,300 and an average of 7 hours of work. That means a bigger time of downtimes. Okay. Once again, I'm gonna show you how much time will cost this action with Jaltest. It's gonna be very easy, and we will see well the information we provide. In this case, for this Link-Belt crane. Okay, so once again, same process. We click on heavy duty. In this case, we are gonna click on Link-Belt. Here we have all the Link-Belt equipment. It's gonna be a HSL series and 298. No, yeah. Okay, so here we will click on Cummins engine. Click on connect. Okay, Jaltest is letting us know that we can have different connectors. Okay, so we are going to use the 9 green pin connector. And now we select the engine we have for this crane. In this case, as I said before, it's a QSL 9. All right, final tier 4. Okay, so we connect. And right now we are in the same menu that we were before, or very similar. I mean, not the same one, because we are now in Cummins. But just to let you know, the user-friendly that Jaltest is a user-friendly tool, because here we are right now working with a QSL 9 Cummins engine, and the menu is the same than the Mercedes, so we will not need to learn advanced functions. And once here, well, we have a lot of things. Okay, for example, we can read for code, so we can have access to the memory of the ECM to learn what is going on. So, for example, here, imagine that we are having a problem with the injector. Well, we can check information about the components, etc. So, for example, advanced information, also communication with the diagrams here, very important as well. Jaltest provide us this technical information so we can have an overview about how every component of the engine is communicating with the ECM. So, for example, if we are having a problem with the injector 1, Jaltest show us that this injector is communicating with the ECM through the sockets X2 and pin 4858. Okay, here we have the injector highlighted, and if I double click on the ECM, I can learn more about the pinouts and the sockets. Okay, so for example, in this case was the socket X2 pin 48 and 58. So gonna be here. And here we can find the pins that are communicating with the injector in which we are having the problem. So if we realize that the problem is not the component and it's a pin or it's a cable, Jaltest provide us also that information. So that's why I say that it's an advanced diagnostic solution, because we try to go further and provide you all the tools you may need to fix any problem. Okay, we have other information here. But let's go to the action we want to perform. So in order to be able to do this calibration, we are going to click on calibration, injector coding, and modify. Once again, we have to introduce the expert mode. And as we did before with the region, we are going to have basic steps. So here we have the initial information. So Jaltest provide us specific information for the injectors of Cummins. Okay, this information will be updated if we are working with another engine. So we will see here how the manufacturer names the different injectors. So after that, we will have the initial conditions. Once we fix that initial condition, we can proceed. And then Jaltest is gonna display us the current values, okay, the current injectors that are saving in our ECM. And then as we are having a problem with the injector 1, we only, after having installing the new injector, we only have to provide the codes of the new injectors. So let's see. Here also, if we are typing a wrong number, Jaltest let us know. So all right, here we have the information of a new injector. Then after introducing that information on the ECM, we have to wait 30 seconds, okay? As I'm in simulation mode, I wanna jump this, but yeah, we have to turn off, and turn on after 30 seconds to save that new information on the ECM. And we will have the new information on the ECM. All right. So that was very easy. And as I said before, you can save a lot of time and money by being able to perform the codification by your own, okay? So, well, let's go to our last example, okay? So we are gonna work right now in Liver, okay? 1 second. So our last example is one of the biggest coverage that our engineering team has been developing for the crane industry. And it's diagnostics and bidirectional test on Liver engines. And I say this coverage is very huge because there is no other aftermarket solution that provides diagnostics on Liver. Well, you will have that in Jaltest, and you will be able to work on this system by your own as well, okay? So in this occasion, our mechanic needs to perform a recovery process of the after treatment system in Liver. Is a region, okay? So once again, needs a tool, and as I said before, and in this example is very important to highlight, there is no option of having an OEM software because Liver is very restrictive. in providing software solution for users. So he is gonna need to call the dealer or a shop specialized in liver engines that will charge our mechanic $1,000 per region and also $300 only for letting him know the faults that the engine has. So I mean, only a diagnostic report delivered cost around $300 just to know what is going on and not even performing any action. Okay, so well, in this case, in this liver LTM 1130, we have once again two engines. We have a liver 6-cylinder in the track and 4-cylinder in the superstructure. As I said before in the example with the Tadano, the regions are going to be more common on the superstructure than in the track because we are not raising the temperature there. So end users of liver track gonna need this coverage very much, and being able to perform this with Jaltest will help him a lot. Okay. Once again, the example is not taking into account also expense of transport, or additional fees, downtimes, or even the price of covering the two engines. Okay, with Jaltest we are able to cover both, and I'm going to show you what does Jaltest offer for him, for this mechanic in liver engines. So let's go back again to Jaltest. We click on heavy duty. Now we go to liver, and in this case it's a LTM 1130. We select the model. Here we have an overview of all the systems we can cover for this specific engine, for this specific crane. So as you can see, well, we cover the retarder, we cover also the system brakes, and also transmission, that is a ZF, engine, and other systems. Okay. So for being able to work on the DPF, we are gonna connect to the engine control module. Once again, Jaltest will help us for choosing the right connectors. In this case, we have a specific connector for liver because the communication protocol that liver use is different than others. So we will need a specific connector for that. It's not the 9 green pin connector, looks like, but it's different. It's a specific connector for working with liver. And once we are in liver, we have the same menu, and we are able to read for codes, as we can see. And not only that, we have here also some system checks, like for example, we can perform a cylinder cutout, injection test, actions on the DEF and other after treatment systems. And also we have the maintenance of the recovery process of the exhaust gas after treatment system. So let's click here. Very easy, as we have seen before. We have an explanation about the action we are going to perform. In this case, we are going to raise the temperature of the SCR. Initial conditions, okay. And well, it's the same, okay. So we perform the action and we conclude. We can check this in graphics if we want. The process is finished. So, well, what I wanted to let you know is that how easy it is to perform an advanced action like a regen, how Jaltest covers all the systems of the crane. Doesn't matter if we are working with the engine or transmissions or whatever. We have the coverage we need when we need. And if we compare the accumulated expense that these services are costing to a technician by year, we will realize that the amount of money and time that he can save by having Jaltest Off-Highway is a lot, especially if we increase the number of visits per year. Okay, so for example, to summarize, Jaltest Off-Highway will cost him less than 4 visits to the dealer. I'm sure that if you are working with cranes, your mechanics works often with third parties and other shops. So I'm pretty sure you finish the year going to those services more than 4 times. So if we check this in more than 1 year, we will see that the price is becoming higher year by year. But with Jaltest, we have always the same price. Only we pay the annual renewal. That is not very much. And well, we can cover everything by our own, and we do not need to worry if we need to carry out a regen or whatever, because we will be able to do that. Okay. So, well, guys, we are arriving at the end of this webinar, and I would like to conclude highlighting the value that a solution like Jaltest Off-Highway brings to the crane industry. Okay, so to summarize, Jaltest costs less than 4 visits to the dealer, and it will provide you advanced functions like regens, resets, calibrations, and many other tests and resets to other systems. Jaltest will allow you to take control of your assets by performing dealer-level bidirectional tests. Will allow you to perform preventive maintenance and taking control of everything. So, well, in conclusion, Jaltest Off-Highway has a clear message for every company of the industry, and that message is a call for action. Is that do it yourself, don't depend on others. Again, that the freedom, be able to cover what you want when you want, and cover all the system with one solution. Stop storing dozens of tools, and well, be independent. Thank you very much, and see you around. I hope you enjoy the session. Well, and now I will have a look to the chat to see if we have questions. All right. So, for example, for Tracy, regarding the question about comparing the coverage we have comparing to Lydia. Well, okay, of course, we provide a very good coverage in terms of diagnostics and advanced function. We are working to have the same coverage than the OEM solution, but of course we cannot have 100% of that coverage. If you have in the past some problems working with a LTM 1350, well, the best thing here is to provide us connection if you are having experiencing problems, and our customer support will help you to communicate with the ACM and read fault codes and perform actions. And well, also we are always working in both directions, developing the solution. So it's very useful to have access to the systems to develop and increase the coverage. So yeah. Then we have another question. Okay, no, there is no the daily cost for Terex cranes. If is that the question, the coverage we provide has an annual renewal. It's an annual license and provides you the coverage in all the makes and all the systems. So you don't need to pay extra costs for adding models or systems. Okay, so you will keep all the capabilities of Jaltest for all the systems. Okay. I don't know if there are more questions. Okay, I think not. Well, I'm guessing that. All right, Mamadou has another question. How can we program a key for a car that has lost all its key? Okay, all right. Being honest, I do not know in the cranes if we can program keys. I will pass that question for the engineering department. I know that, for example, in the model of commercial vehicles for line medium duty, we have that functions. So, well, it's a good question, and I will send you an email with that information after asking the engineering department. All right. So, this webinar will be available in 1 day on internet. You will have access, and you will have a link to check it in the future. I'm gonna also try to provide you better answers if for your questions, and even though you have my contact, okay, it's in the webinar. It's Jorge, Jorge, Verdejo kojaliusa.com. You can send me there some question, also to customer support at jaltest.com, or calling to 305-960-7651. That is the telephone of our customer support. We will be there for you guys for more question or anything you may need. Thank you very much again for your time. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Well, see you around, guys. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.